Hello, everyone. I'm Tim.
And I'm Willem.
And this is Hear Me Out Pitch. I know. I did it your way.
All right.
I'll
keep it.
Throwing you off.
Are we keeping it this week?
All
right. We're keeping it this week. All right.
Weird.
I like it. It's a good way to start. I think it's fun. It gives a hello. And welcome, everyone.
Yeah. For those of you who are new, this is Hear Me Out Pitch. We're cool. We're nerds.
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit. Hold on.
Looks at stuff on that side.
Whether you're new or you've been here before, thank you for tuning in. This week's episode's brought to you by Crushed Can of Squirt. Not actually. I wish. Please sponsor us.
No, don't sponsor us. Probably gonna have to blur that out and bleep you out so it sounds hilarious. This brought to you by Bleep. It's gonna be funny.
Yes.
We'll see. I probably will. Just be funny. And but no,
yeah,
75. Yeah. 75th episode. Hopefully by the time this comes out. But yeah, 75 episodes.
Yeah. That's not including our specials.
Not including our specials, but remember when we hit 10, we were like, oh my gosh. And we know that we haven't that many followers. We know that it's not crazy and it's whatever. But still
fun. And we do it anyway.
And we've gone from one microphone to two now. You all can see our faces. And it's crazy. And we've come up with 15 original stories.
20.
20. Is that including sequels of movies already?
I think so.
Yeah, over 20 original stories.
I can do maths.
Maths.
What did we do last week?
Last week we talked about, oh my goodness. We talked about my emotional clairvoyant character.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. Life Slinger.
Ooh, we're gonna get some names here.
The Climb.
Yep.
Ecliptica.
That's a good one.
Very proud of that one.
I like that one.
Toymaker's Gift.
You know what? Yes. But that's a Tim story. I did not help with that at all.
that was episode 66. That's a story I created when I was like 14. A Tale of Crowns.
I love that one.
Wishful Thinking. That was our fairy grandmother origin story.
Was that the title? All right, I like it.
Soul Forged.
Oh, that one I want to revisit.
A good one.
I need to revisit that one, dude.
Liam the Pirate.
Oh.
Very cute one.
That one needs to be claymation.
A Hero is Called.
Oh, we need to, that because that one was still kind of indecisive between
here's
our
our
two stories.
Like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row. Right? Liam the Pirate.
Okay.
And A Hero is Called. Woven.
Loved it.
Dreamweaver.
Love that one a lot.
Dreamweaver. I have to sing it off key because we don't want to get.
Yeah. And we just can't sing.
Free the Light.
Which one was that?
I don't remember.
Oh, that was the brother and sister. The brother of darkness, the sister of light. The yin and yang story.
Yin and yang. Spirit of Opportunity.
Oh.
One of my favorites, Painted Purple.
That's not. Nope. It's good. It's a good one, but I know which one's my favorite.
She Who Laughs.
That I want to revisit that.
This one doesn't have a title per se, but it's another original. To start a story, you need a single idea.
Oh, that's Bergen's Bears.
Is that Bergen's Bears?
That is Bergen's Bears.
Okay.
That one I probably should change the title, but that was the point of that episode, was that we were gonna just go off with a single idea. So that's the one that kind of started it. And we do have a sequel of Coraline. We have a sequel of Big Hero 6. And you have your Star Wars series, and we have my Spider-Man.
I'm not counting the Star Wars or Spider-Man.
How many are we at, though?
I am...
I love how this is part of the episode tonight. We're showcasing all of our original stories. Because why not?
Yeah, 19.
19. We are almost at 20.
That's not including my Star Wars and Willem's
Spider-Man.
With those, that's way more than that.
It's well over 20. So yeah, that's crazy.
And a couple of those were two-parters.
They were.
Which means realistically we've got like 22 to 23.
We have a lot of original content on this app.
We're proud.
On this podcast, and sadly, not a lot of people listen, but that's okay. Someday. But what we talk about today for our 75th episode?
Well, you had an idea. I think it's a good idea. We're going to talk about main characters, protagonists that had every right to turn evil, to turn to the dark side,
to crash out,
and they didn't. We can talk about all the ones that did, and that's a long list of villains that most villains actually.
I mean, I don't know if they're all justified. Voldemort, no, he was not justified for it. I don't know.
Darth Vader.
I don't know if he's justified.
To a point, I would say he's justified. He's wrong.
I will tell you though,
he's wrong.
You're right.
I would say he was somewhat justified.
I will say a good maybe, because Luke is definitely one who I think would be on this list.
Oh, absolutely. Luke is on my list. I made this list while Willem was setting up stuff. So it's a hurried list.
It's a hurried list.
But it's a list nonetheless. I've got a couple that might surprise you.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got, how many do I have? 20. No.
Oh my gosh.
Well, not actually 20. I'm counting.
We like the number 20.
I'm counting.
This episode is brought to you by the number 20. Should be 75, but whatever.
I could include or exclude a couple of these. Sitting around 12.
All right.
So most of them will probably be like the honorable mentions kind of thing.
Okay. Well, let's go with a few honorable mentions.
Sam Gamgee.
And when you say crash out, you mean he could have at any point just said, "You know what, Mr. Frodo? I'm done. I'm turning home. I'm turning around."
There was also the point when he had the ring, and he could have refused to give it back. Yeah, he's one of my honorable mentions. He is one of my favorite characters.
Some people are going to be so mad he's not higher. But it's okay.
Yeah.
No, he shouldn't be higher.
He's one of my favorite characters in all of media. He's fantastic, very well written. Sean Astin is fantastic. And yeah, I just love that character. I love Sam Gamgee. Everybody needs a Sam in their life. And yeah.
I would like to think that I'm a Sam type person.
I would think so.
Oh, thanks. Because I will carry you, Mr. Tim. I'll carry you. Oh no, his monologue to Frodo is one of my favorites. I will look it up occasionally.
Yeah.
So it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I honestly think I'm just kind of going up. I have a few ideas in my head, but I couldn't really it was hard for me to narrow this down. So it's going to be hard for me. But one of the first people I would say I think deserves it is Optimus Prime.
He's on my list.
Oh.
Yep.
All right, then I will shove that to the side.
Oh, I don't I've only I only watched the first and like the fourth.
Okay.
The first one is all you need. I mean, I watched the second and
you need to watch
third.
Transformers 1. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You should watch it.
Transformers 1 is good.
Oh, you've seen it?
Not Transformers 1, but the
Michael
first
Bay.
Transformers.
Okay.
Yes. It's fantastic. And with the backstory that we're given for Optimus Prime, specifically in that movie, right, his home world was destroyed. He could have easily said, all right, we ruined our home world. Let's terraform Earth and turn it into our new world.
He could have been a General Zod.
Yeah.
Could have been. Because Megatron, I guess he didn't really want it. Kind of.
Not really.
They're just a dark mirror of each other. There is an awesome comic out there that it's called Dark Mirror, I think. I'll try to find the right comic. Maybe I'll put an edit here. But it's a comic where all the Autobots and all the Decepticons, it's just an alternate reality where Autobots are evil. Like the Autobot symbol is purple and the Decepticon symbol is red. And all of Megatron, Starscream, they are all the good guys. Optimus, like his color scheme is purple, green, and orange, and he's terrifying. Bumblebee is a silent, psychotic killer. Ratchet, the medic, tears Autobots to pieces. He tears Decepticons to pieces. I like it. I think that he's definitely on my list for a reason, and yeah.
Yeah, he's a little lower, but he is one that I put on my list.
It must be it must be hard to. He could give up on Earth anytime. I think that's probably the biggest point I would make. Is he could give up anytime and leave us.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other big thing: like he was betrayed by a lot of the humans that he protected.
Oh, the Michael Bay. Yeah, the Michael Bay
protected us, and then we turned on him.
Yeah.
And yeah,
valid crash outs.
Lost a ton of his friends. Most of his people were wiped out. So, but he stuck to his guns.
Literally.
And yeah.
He is here and he is waiting. All right, you got another one? What's another oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. What's that word called? Not common courtesy. I can think of the word. Did you zone out too?
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Wow.
That's what it's called.
That's what it's called. I am not a smart man. We've been over this many times.
Yes. You'll like this one.
Okay.
Alphonse from Full Metal.
Can I put Alphonse and Elric? No. Yeah, Elric.
Elric, I believe, is their last name.
Oh, it's what is it?
I don't remember.
I
had to look it up. I had to look up the name.
Alphonse and I just call him Full Metal, or I just call him Elric. Now my brain is fried.
Edward.
Jeez. Almost the same time. Edward and Alphonse. I can't, because I have another set of siblings for me. They're my number 5.
Okay.
So they definitely to me are number 5. They were the first person. They were some of the first that popped in my head, and I was like, yeah, they deserve it in every way to have had a crash out anytime. Mm-hmm. So, but I would say that right behind him, oh my gosh, Edward and Alphonse.
Specifically Alphonse.
Yeah.
Right. He lost his entire body.
He was
due to alchemy.
His soul was torn. Spoilers.
He had to endure that just constant dread. Right.
No emotion.
That constant existential dread.
That's not really a spoiler. We won't say anything about what happens in the end. But no, he's stuck in this suit of armor. Can't feel. Can't do anything.
And then he has a chance to restore himself.
I think he has a few times.
Yeah. He has chances to I'm only remembering the one. But he has a chance to fix himself and be human again, but he doesn't because I think they're Philosopher's Stones, right? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
It's human souls.
Yep.
And it would require sacrificing other people.
Nothing...
And so he takes the moral high road and is like, you know what? I can't.
I can't believe you've seen that anime. I had no idea you've seen it. It is,
it's good.
To me,
it's a really
controversial take, guys, but there to me is only one show. Like we talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender like very highly here. Mm-hmm. To me, there's only one show equal, or I dare say better, and that is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Because
there's no fillers.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I think that those two shows are. Oh, and speaking of Avatar, another honorable mention, real quick.
Aang
had every right.
Yep. He witnessed the aftermath of the genocide of his people.
100 years later.
The extinction of his people, his family. He saw Monk Gyatso's
body
corpse in a room full of dead firebenders. I
really hope this next show is a good one.
Agreed.
We talked about that a couple episodes ago.
He had to deal with all of that. He had to deal with constantly being hunted by Zuko. There are many times when he could have straight up killed Zuko,
or at least let him die. When he had the moment with Ozai in his sights,
with Ozai,
he's lightning bending, and he's holding it. Mm-hmm. If this is a spoiler for you, shame on you.
Go watch freaking Avatar: The Last Airbender, Zach. Come on.
20 years old. One of the best shows. And if you're listening to our podcast, I'm pretty sure you've seen the show.
If you've listened to our podcast, if you're one of the few who's listened to all of our episodes, and you still haven't watched Last Airbender,
I think we have like 3 solid episodes. What?
You gotta be careful with that finger.
Oh, I'm sorry. I use my middle finger to... I'm sorry.
As I was getting mad at the audience.
I'll make sure that the camera isn't on me when I do that, so...
Well, now they know.
Sorry, everybody. Yep. Love you all.
Yeah, Avatar Aang is he had every right. He could have been Zahir.
You know, and I'll be honest, if it does truly be revealed that Korra crashed out, I don't think I'll blame her.
No, are you kidding? She had to deal with 4 different big threats
and kind of a lame and I will say I know Korra wasn't fighting Nickelodeon, but it was against her as well as the fans. I do not think I have my gripes with Korra.
Korra is not Last Airbender, but I enjoy it. It is still a beautifully well written show.
For what they were given, it's very well done. So, and I'm excited to see. Hopefully that this next one makes up, and it's going to teach a lot of people lessons. That's for sure.
I can't wait.
Oh, I'm scared. All right, we about ready? Number 5.
I haven't put them in order.
Oh, okay.
I just have my top 5.
Okay, so this is in no particular order then?
No.
All right. Well, I'll give you the first 2. I'm going to put them together. Mabel and Dipper Pines.
They're on my list.
Okay.
They were on my list.
I had
my
a
wife
feeling.
and I are on the last 2 episodes for our 6th watch. Our 6th time going through it. If you haven't watched Gravity Falls, go watch it. It's a beautiful show. Absolutely amazing.
I was surprised.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of adult jokes that go over kids' heads and a lot of kids' jokes that make adults laugh. It's great.
It's fabulous.
It's very clean. It is very clean. It is an amazing show. Very well written. Alex Hirsch, you are a mastermind. He's a weird guy, but he's crazy good at creating that story.
I gotta ask though, random ADHD tangent here, Tim. Do innuendos still make a show clean? Because there are quite a few. Because like you said, there are adult jokes that go over their heads. Mm-hmm. So it's like Animaniacs. It's a kid's show, but gosh darn it. If you're an adult watching, you go, how did you put that in there? Speaking of which, my wife and I just watched Cars. Yep. Oh my gosh. There's so many. He did what in his cup? All right. Well, so I'd consider it clean. Yeah. But going back to the twins, first off, their parents are like non-existent. It sounds like they have not that fun of it. Dipper is an outcast. They both are an outcast in their own ways, but Dipper is. I've got to put Dipper above Mabel on this. Yes. Barely. But Mabel, I feel like the things that happened to Mabel though. No, it's hard and I feel bad, and I will put, if we can put a subgroup of Stanford and I was going to say, we've got to put the Stans. We got to put the Stans in there. I'll just say that the two sets of twins in Gravity Falls, they all deserved. Honestly though, but is it Stanley? Stanley, his real name is Stanley. Yes. Stanley, Grunkle Stan. All that went through my mind was Seuss explaining the Stan versus Stanford thing to Wendy at 3 a.m. They were twins the whole time. It's amazing. It was Stan, but not our Stan. But not our Stan. Stan Lee. And the other one is Stanford, but not our Stanford. Yeah. Yo, dudes, check it out. Bud Island. Sorry. Seuss is probably my favorite character. He's lovable. He is so funny. Would you date him? Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? I love Wendy. Great. Yeah, I think that they deserve. To me, like those four deserve. Yeah. They deserve it right up there. I think Ford above all. He had every right to walk out that portal and go, "I'm done." He had every right to shake Bill's hand and just accept. Yep. Ultimate power. Ew. Same with Dipper. Like Dipper had to deal with so much coming from everybody, and Pine's twins were also on my list. All right, then we'll leave it there. All right, then what are your? I don't know. I'm kind of excited. Let's see if we have another one that's the same. Here's a classic that I'm not sure if you'll have on your list. Okay. Harry Potter. Oh no, Harry. Yeah, honestly, Harry might have been my number one. Along the same lines, another honorable mention, Neville. Oh. Yes. Neville. Both the boys who lived. Yeah. Neville had every right to be like, you know what? This prophecy crap sucks. And I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna cut off Nagini's head. I'm gonna fight. No, I think the crash out for me doesn't mean that they turn necessarily evil, but they go against their convictions and they do something that they would regret, and it's gonna turn them. Well, I think that's what Neville would have. I would have seen if they would have not have held Neville back. I think Neville would have snapped, and either killed Bellatrix or he would have done the Cruciatus curse on Bellatrix until she was insane. A vegetable, like his parents. Yep. I can't confidently say. I'd like to say I can. I can't confidently say that I wouldn't give Bellatrix a taste of her own medicine. She deserved. But he wouldn't be Neville anymore. No, he wouldn't. They would probably arrest him. You're right. She deserved everything that Neville could have thrown at her. And Molly was the one to end her, and that's just perfect. And that was very satisfying. And that was her crash out because it was deserved. But Neville,
I wouldn't even call that a crash out. I would call that...
It was her defense. You're right.
Defense
But Neville, like I imagine just an alternate timeline where, Bellatrix flies away and Neville goes and he just chases her, and then I imagine they'd like do the big fight in the 5th book, and and maybe Sirius doesn't die because Bellatrix is distracted and everyone's kind of cheering. Voldemort's gone, and they hear this awful noise. Awful, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Neville just holding her down with that spell, and you can just see her snapping. And yeah, that would be it. And it would be a sour ending because I think that they would probably arrest Neville.
Send him to Azkaban.
And yeah, because that's the unforgivable curse. And it would be sad because he would be there. But the last panel of this said alternate reality would be her being like gently guided to this nursing home, and she's standing next to his parents. Anyway,
all right, back to Harry.
Back to Harry, though. Wow, we focus a little there, but Harry should have gone with Slytherin. I would love to see that story.
Here's a lot of Harry suffered through a lot of crap. He was cursed by Voldemort to start. Then he was sent to live with
the Dursleys,
which was genius because they're the most Muggle people out there, and just masked the stench of wizard. But
yeah,
like Harry was straight up abused.
Do you think it's because he was a Horcrux?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that does play a part? Because they do seem a little more... I would like to think that he at least becomes friendly with Dudley and Petunia. But
he did.
But not Vernon.
In the 7th.
Oh, yeah. There's
in
the
In
handshake.
the 7th, there's the handshake. I don't think you're a waste of space.
Yes.
That hit me. That hit me hard because I'm like, oh my gosh. And in the book, Rowling even says that that's the closest that Dudley would ever get to saying, I can't remember if it was I love you or whatever to Harry, but like that's Dudley's way of saying I love you, I'm gonna miss you, man.
I like the fan cast that Dudley has a daughter who's a witch, or that, and she's like, someone made a thing that Dudley had 2 kids. He had 2 daughters. One was a witch and one was not, and Petunia got to relate to the other one, and Petunia slowly got better at integrating. Uncle Vernon, though, I just can't imagine. I'm sorry. I feel like he was always awful and sour.
Yeah, I think by the 7th he was.
That actor did. I can't remember his name at the moment. Rest in peace.
He did such a good job.
I cannot stand Uncle Vernon.
The entire cast of those movies. Perfect.
Some of them were way too old for the characters, but doesn't matter. They were fantastic. But Harry, every right to embrace Slytherin. Do you think Voldemort would have come after him if he had embraced Slytherin?
For sure.
Okay.
He was also manipulated by Dumbledore.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly.
We have to admit it, guys. Dumbledore isn't that great of a character.
No.
Don't
he was
him
noble.
To Gandalf.
He was noble.
Mm-hmm. He's a Nick Fury. He's a Nick Fury character.
Yes.
And
he did what he had to.
You can be the good guys, or you could be the person that saves the world.
Yeah.
For our Invincible fans.
Oh, and like every year
someone
dies. Someone dies close to him. Especially year 4. In year 4, we've got Cedric. And then year 5, we've got Sirius. And then year 6, we've got Dumbledore.
7, turns out that the guy who Harry hated for all these years turned out to be a double agent. And it's just like, the poor boy. We need to admit as a society that the Harry Potter series was something revolutionary at the turn of this century.
I will admit, it's not perfect.
No.
Right. The world should not operate under the rules of a single school. Illuminati. But just the way that the world was the way that J.K. Rowling wove these stories together and wove these characters together and into these stories, just phenomenal.
Single mother, alone, just made this up, and look what it became.
Yep.
And we'll leave it at that. We won't get into anything else of it, but Harry definitely deserved that crash out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think for me, I'm going to put, I guess, Harry was on my list, so I guess I'll do a character that probably you don't have, and that is Finn the Human from Adventure Time.
I could never get into
and that's okay.
Never get into it. My wife and her family, they'll love it.
I hope someday you can really try to.
Here's the other thing: I didn't grow up with Cartoon Network,
and that's okay.
I grew up on Cubo and PBS Kids.
You only watched Avatar because you watched on DVD, like that sort of thing. I get it, but the older I got, the more I was like, okay, this is a cool show, and I remember like the episode where the tone shifted. Like you're like, silly show, silly show, silly show, silly show, silly show. And then this twist happens and you're like, okay, that was a little bit of a little drop of dark. And then all of a sudden you had full arcs of it going absolutely insane. And then I would say the series finale of Finn of Adventure Time is in my top 10 shows series finale, especially if we're just talking about cartoons, definitely top 5. But Finn was the only human that he knew of. He spent this whole show like just young, and he's always saving everybody. He's fighting things, and he did that because he wanted to. But the closer you get to the end, he's just suffering. There's times where he gets possessed he has a body stuck in another dimension that combines to have an evil clone of him follow him for the rest of the show, and then they become friends near the end. Like there's so much, like by the end of it you're like, are we even with the original Finn? Like he could have easily at any point just ran away, but he always decided to do the right thing and be the human that Ooh needed. So yeah, Finn the Human, definitely one on my list that I had a feeling you wouldn't have.
Yeah, I did not have that on my list. It's a good one.
You got one that I don't got?
Maybe.
All right.
Bruce Wayne.
Oh, okay. I wanted to say that I wanted to exclude Bruce because he does kind of crash out many times. And even the Batman Who Laughs to me is the ultimate crash out. Actually, I actually own the graphic novel A White Knight, and Joker becomes sane and Bruce slowly starts kind of losing it. Mm-hmm. And so I think I'll put him in honorable mention in my opinion, because of course, he had every right.
He had every right. His parents were killed. He lived in freaking Gotham City. Yeah. Like crime capital of the world.
Don't care if you're a billionaire. He should have moved. He should, honestly, if I were Bruce, his crash out would have been, parents died. I have all this money. I'm moving to Metropolis and dating Lois Lane. Like
yeah.
And just been a playboy. Don't care. Honestly, at every right just to go, screw this city. Screw it, leaving it. Here's like half my fortune. Try to fix the city. They're not going to fix it. And I'm going to leave. And whatever. And he probably wouldn't have given the fortune though, because, yeah, maybe he would have gone and been like a nice, kind hermit somewhere. I don't know. If Bruce were to crash out, I think he would just give up his fortune and move somewhere to a little beach house and just chill. That's my crash out for Bruce Wayne. Is him just, nope. I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
In that regard, though, Tim, we have to put Spider-Man in that.
Spider-Man's my next. Spider-Man was my next. We do kind of see it in all three. Mm-hmm. In all three Spider-Men. We see it, I guess, less with Andrew Garfield's, but...
Oh, I wanted to. And that's what I'm trying to do.
We do see it very intensely for all of 30 minutes with Tom Holland.
Oh gosh.
In the most recent Spider-Man, where he straight up is about to murder Green Goblin for killing Aunt May.
Every scene with Tom Holland and Willem Dafoe was to me some of the best fights.
So
and
good.
for Toby to stop the glider, that movie isn't perfect. And it's kind of boring in some parts, but there are some parts that I'm like, this is Spider-Man. So hopefully this next trilogy we get from Tom Holland will be...
Yeah. And like we did see, especially in Spider-Man, in Tobey's Spider-Man, the third one, with Bully Maguire.
You're gonna cry?
That's kind of his crash out. But yeah, I feel like all three of them had more than enough reason to go even further. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a comic out there where Spider-Man just gets sick of J. Jonah Jameson and just ends him. It's like, you want me to be the bad guy? I'm gonna be the bad guy.
Maybe. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's...
That'd be hilarious if there's
something.
None.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny. In every universe out there, like, he just never cares.
Yeah. And like losing Uncle Ben, losing Gwen Stacy, losing to an extent MJ, kind of, if we go Spider-Verse to a point. Losing Uncle Aaron, losing Aunt May, right? Each of them has so much reason to go and crash out, which for them would be, I feel like, not quite the giving up of the powers, but it's more of the
no responsibility.
I'm gonna do whatever I want with these powers. I have these powers. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go rob a bank. They can't stop me.
Who can stop me? Yeah, you wouldn't. I think Peter Parker and Bruce... I'm going to put Peter Parker and Bruce Wayne kind of in the same thing.
Yeah, I'll put them on the same... Because they both... you're right. They both do crash out to a point.
I want, like, characters that, like... We are like, you just deserve it. And this next one, I know you're going to agree with me on it. Kaladin Stormblessed. Yep.
He was my next. He was my next one.
This is why we have a podcast together.
It is. If you have not read The Way of Kings or any of the Stormlight Archives,
we'll just, you know what? We won't do any like crazy spoilers.
It's fantastic. Just skip ahead. We
won't do anything spoiler free, but for those who have read it,
we understand within the first first quarter of the first book.
We watch a man go from a slave to something great, and we'll just leave it at that. But he many times has at any point just to say, I do not want to be an honorable man, and I am going to go my own way. He could have been
Teft,
Moash. He could have easily been. Moash is what Kaladin could have been. And that's what scares me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what scares Moash.
I think that's what scares Kaladin.
Mm-hmm. And I think we'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
But we are big fans of Lopin. He deserves a crash out.
Yeah.
Okay. For a certain character to meet his end, I want it to be by the Lopin's hand. Because that just to me would be the darkest twist. And we'll leave it there, and we kept it vague, but yeah.
Along the same lines, Shallan and Dalinar also. To a lesser extent. Dalinar, I feel like because of what his idiot brother did. And Shallan because of Mraize. Here's the thing. I don't know. Like, I was debating on Dalinar and Iroh and, like, Kratos. But the thing is, all three of those men have a dark past. And they've crashed out in their own way. We don't know about Iroh. I have personal beliefs that until Avatar Studios comes out with literal war crimes that Iroh did, I will just say that he was an honorable man and the people under him did awful things. And I know that's hard, but war is awful. And yes, it was the Fire Nation, but whatever. But it's also Iroh. Who is the most pure man in that entire series. I think he would have been, if Aang would have
woken up 50 years earlier, Iroh and him would have been friends, and I would have loved that series. Mm-hmm. So Iroh would have helped the Avatar in another life.
Oh, absolutely. Along similar lines with Kaladin, Kelsier.
He did crash out. He went back to the mines, and he tore apart the rich, the high bloods, or whatever they were called.
He tore them apart.
Yeah,
but he did his duty as a Mistborn.
Yeah.
To try to tear down the Lord Ruler. Mm-hmm. And at any point, he could have just given up. Mm-hmm. At any point. I think we do see in the second one, Breeze does kind of give up for a moment after he watches Clubs,
Oof, okay.
Vin is another one that I feel like she could have... And Ellen.
Any
of Sanderson's main characters.
But for me, I'm sorry to say,
I think Kaladin is
the top
1.
one. I think Kaladin is Sanderson's most iconic character, and that's just me. I think that when most people hear Brandon Sanderson, many people will think of Kaladin. Second place, Vin.
I think of Vin, but that's because I started with Mistborn.
I started with a boy in a slave cart.
I didn't even get to that point until I had read Mistborn, the Alcatraz books,
How far are you in the newest book? We'll talk about it later. We won't say anything here, but...
Quarter of the way through.
Ooh, quarter? Okay.
Quarter.
Really? Mm-hmm. Damn, I want to talk about stuff with you.
I know.
I'm going to listen to it again and beat you
again. I've been listening to it.
All right. Let's each do one more.
I've got two more, and I know one of them is on your list.
Okay, then I want to hear that one first then.
Luke Skywalker.
I did mention Luke. That's right.
Luke Skywalker is...
We need to talk about Luke. You're right.
Luke Skywalker's number 1 on my list. He is number 1 on my list.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. First, he discovers that freaking Darth Vader is his father, the man who had been hunting him and terrorizing him. Then there's Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru within 20 minutes of the first movie.
Gone. Obi-Wan.
There's Obi-Wan. There's the Emperor trying to manipulate and persuade him to join the dark side, which he almost does to a point in episode 6. There's Yoda as well. He loses another master, and it's just so much where he easily could have just given in, gone to the dark side, just let go, and he doesn't. And I think that's a really big tell of what kind of character he is, because even there's a lot of really cool visual playing with kind of hinting at where in his journey he is mentally and emotionally, and also with the Force and physically and all that. Episode 4, he starts with the whole, tan and white get up. Mm-hmm. He's pure, he's innocent. Then there's episode 5 where it starts to get a little bit darker, but he's still rocking that kind of brownish tan.
Well, he also wears the fighter pilot.
There's the orange for the fighter pilot.
But then you start the 6th movie.
The 6th movie, he's all in black. And that's where... And if you haven't watched those, you're like 50 years too late.
Can you believe it's going to be 50 years in a couple of years?
Yeah, it's
and
nuts.
And that this year is 20 years since Revenge of the Sith. I am freaking out.
Yeah. Luke
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Luke had a chance, and we even see in episode 6 where, he's wearing all that, wearing that black, and he's just dark and broody. It's his emo phase, and then after he tosses his lightsaber, and after he defeats his father, he tosses his lightsaber aside and is thrown to the ground with the power of the Force lightning and the unlimited power. And then we see the edge of his shirt kind of folded down, and it's white on the inside, showing that he's overcome his darkness.
Oh, I don't think I've ever noticed that.
Yeah. It's a really cool visual cue to show Luke's triumph over himself. As well as over the Emperor.
The scene where Luke goes into the little cave or whatever, Yoda sends him on that. It's been a long minute.
When he goes into the cave on Dagobah
and sees Vader, fights it, chops and like cuts. Does he cut his head off? And then there is just Luke's head in the helmet, and I remember like freaking out as a little kid. And it was like there was a warning, like, Luke, there is a darkness in you that you need to overcome. You have every right. I feel like the Force was warning him in every way, like, Luke, ooh. They should have done his character better, and we won't go into that. Okay, I have one character, but it's another book character. I know you haven't read it, but I'll just do it really quick, and then
I do have two more, but the one
I think
one of them is another one that you wouldn't.
All right, I do think there's one that me and you both have,
and there's one that
and
possibly
is it Hiccup?
It's not
really.
Hiccup's a good one, but no.
Hiccup was one that I've been like tossing and turning with, but honestly, Hiccup could have become like a dark version of his mom at any time. Could have been like the could
have been
Drago, and easily could have done that at any time. And yeah, he was an outcast, hated. His father like looked down on him, and he could have just and that is actually what inspired this idea, was a song, and it was Hiccup bringing an army of dragons and burning everyone. And I was like, huh. And that's why I kind of didn't want to include it, because I was like, oh, but he would be on one, but I want to hear
one that you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You're gonna roll your eyes.
Is it from Destiny?
It is.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. The Guardian, the player character, has so many opportunities to take the darkness and run. The whole premise of the game is you are empowered by the light, and that light, given by a giant moon-like entity called the Traveler, grants you powers over fire, lightning, and the void, which is just like the emptiness between space. Very, very cool magic system. I love it. And then there's the darkness, and that's stasis, which is kind of your ice. And then there's strand, which is kind of this greenish, almost plant-like strands of energy that it's a lot more of the mental. But the Guardian goes through, and several of the campaigns you go through over and over, and you're fighting for this god that is not really listening to you, that's not really doing anything for you other than granting you these powers, and you're just expected to protect it and go after it. Kind of. But you're going after these big, massive threats repeatedly that are coming after humanity. All these different alien races that are coming after you, trying to wipe you out, trying to take that power for themselves. And eventually, and spoiler alert, you haven't played the games, go play them. Willem.
Game. Never.
But anyway. At one point in Destiny 2, during the Beyond Light campaign, you take up the darkness. You take the powers of the darkness for yourself, and you wield them as a champion of light. And so, you kind of have to fight through and you have to fight through these mental blocks, and you have to push away the darkness, the outside darkness that's tempting you and begging you to use this darkness power for yourself. And then you do it again in the Lightfall campaign with Strand, and you go in and you take on these darkness powers again, and these darkness powers are used by the big bad of the Destiny universe, who is basically kind of the Thanos of this story, kind of orchestrating everything, and he uses it, and his followers use the darkness, and then you take the darkness and use it against him. And it's very poetic, and at so many points, like, you lose so many friends, you lose a lot of mentors, and a lot of the characters in that series have a lot of opportunities and reason to crash out. Zavala would be one of them. For those of you who have played, he has a lot of reason, and you actually witness what would happen if he did crash out in the campaign.
Yeah.
In the final campaign, the final shape campaign. But through all of it, our guardian, our character, pushes through, wields the light and the dark together, and fights off this Thanos character called the Witness, and it's just beautiful. It's awesome.
He's trying to sell me so hard on that game.
I'm not gonna lie, part of that was just trying to sell you on it. I have you in a place where you'll actually listen.
I know. I have to sit here and just be like, oh gosh.
And those of you who haven't played it and are thinking about it, go for it. Please.
Go for it.
It's awesome. It can be pricey, but you can play it without paying money. Like,
it's fun. It's from what I've heard.
It is fantastic.
Our dear friend Ethan, we miss you.
Mm-hmm. It is, outside of the Zelda series, Destiny has become my favorite.
Really?
Game. Yes.
Well, speaking of favorite video games, I'm surprised you didn't put Cal Kestis on your list.
He does crash out. You literally play him crashing out at the end of the second game.
Do you think... Okay, I gotta ask. If they did a...
They're doing a third.
No, if they do a good and bad type thing, like they kind of did with the... Like what they do with Red Dead Redemption and what they do with certain games where you do morally good stuff, you do that, like... Would you want that for a third game?
I don't think so.
I would.
I don't think it would fit.
Well, of course, the bad ending would be if you did the bad ending, it would be the non-canon one. Mm-hmm. But, especially because... I
just don't think it would fit the Star Wars universe.
I want another Starkiller game.
I know you can do it with
Starkiller.
Starkiller, but I don't think it fits Cal Kestis's...
Like, okay, what I mean by that is, imagine if they had, like, a kind of darker ending if you use the darkness too much. Mm-hmm. Like, I would... Imagine if you embrace the darkness, and if it really be... Like, in the players, we don't know. And then it's like... And so many people are going, why am I getting the bad ending? Why is my saber turn red? Like, by the end of the fight, could you imagine the end of the fight, it forces your lightsaber to be red? And you have no choice, and you're like,
that'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be
that
awful.
would be cool.
But yeah, you're right.
And don't get me wrong, Cal Kestis was not an afterthought. Like he's, I didn't put him on my list on purpose.
Okay,
and that's because in the second game you
have a valid crash out.
Yeah, you play as Cal Kestis using the dark side. Spoilers, if you haven't played it,
it was fantastic.
It's my favorite Star Wars story outside of the original saga, 1 through 6, 7, 8, 9 are.
They don't
go listen to mine.
For all of our YouTube listeners, there is a playlist.
But yeah, I specifically didn't put Cal on that list.
All right. Well, honestly, I think I've talked about many characters. We could go through so many.
I've got one more.
One more?
I've got one more, and I think you'll agree.
All right.
Frodo. I talked about Sam. He was an honorable mention.
I was curious.
Frodo is, like I said, Luke Skywalker is my number one.
Could you imagine a mini Nazgul?
But
just a little, like, what are they, like 2.5 feet?
3 feet tall.
3 feet tall, little Nazgul just walking around with the
scary
Witch King's helmet on.
Yeah,
I see you.
But no, like Frodo had so much reason to crash out. He had, first, he was kind of forced to leave his home. He was carrying the One Ring, for crying out loud. Jeez. And there are several times where he almost succumbs to it, and at the very end, he kind of does.
He did.
Until Gollum bites his finger off.
Hooray! Wait.
But like the whole trek through Mordor, and then trying to get to Mordor, he loses Gandalf. He loses Boromir. I guess he doesn't lose Boromir. We lose Boromir. But you know, we just there's so many times where Frodo has an opportunity to just kind of give up
and drop it.
He almost not even drop it, take it and run. Pull a Bilbo and take it and run. I think Frodo is another one who is very high up on that list, where had he not had Sam, he would have, and he would not have made it without
high
Sam.
Praise to Sam.
Yeah,
and I think the moral, or the message I think I would want to give out with this list is that many of our beloved characters, when they hit the hero's journey and they end up at that fall point, all of them do the old Bruce Wayne and they get back up and they keep fighting, you know. And I think one of the best crash outs ever that is very valid, and I don't even call it a crash out, but no, he snaps, is Odysseus slaughtering all the suitors. I do not blame him. No, and for any of my epic musical listeners, very well done, and I hope that we get a very good animated movie. But I'm glad that these characters stick to their guns. I'm glad that they had supporting characters to help them, and I think that's a good lesson, because I don't think any of the characters on our list could do this alone.
No,
none of them, and I think that's something that is wonderful. So find your supporting characters, find your Sam, find your Mabel, find your Robin, find all of that. You can't do stuff alone. Well, I'm pretty satisfied with my care.
I am too.
I think that's just a good place to end it. But
that's a good place.
Any final thoughts?
I mean, Hero would be another honorable mention.
Oh,
Hero 6.
Why did I not even think? Well, we could go on and on and on. For Disney,
just about any protagonist in any movie, book, game has reason to crash out.
Has every reason just to go. But some of them do. And that's why I wanted to pick characters who never did something that, I'm talking like they do something that's going to have crazy consequences. Because, yeah. I think that these are just some characters that I realize, like, they don't ever just snap, they don't ever lose it, or they never, I don't know, there's just some that I would not have blamed them if they became villains. If Dipper and Mabel became villainous characters, they became worse than Gideon. If they were to embrace Bill and worked with him, I would be like, I think they deserve it. If Harry would have chosen to be a Slytherin, worked with the Dark Lord, and I honestly think if Voldemort understood that his Horcrux was next to him, safe like Nagini, I don't think he would have cared. And I think for Frodo to become a little Nazgul or whatever, I think, but they didn't.
No,
and that's the wonderful
thing. When things get tough, you can't give up.
Yep.
Don't compromise your morals because things get tough.
I've seen many family and friends have crash out, whether it's they just get up and leave, they cut everyone out of their lives, or we'll just leave it at that. And yeah, they make choices that you can't come back from. So let's not all crash out. Well, any final thoughts before I end it for everyone?
Just the standard.
Love
each other, be kind, and try to be someone else's Sam.
Don't crash out.
Don't crash out.
Don't crash out. Keep on pushing.
Don't
Work
give up
really
hope.
hard. Don't give up hope at all. And until next time, we'll see you later, pitches. Bye.
Goodbye.